Tonight, close calls in the skies and the summer travel warning ahead of Memorial Day. Weeks after a deadly mid-air crash between a helicopter and a regional jet, 2 more flights had to abandon landings because of a military helicopter nearby. The transportation chief blasting Pentagon leaders tonight. And the ongoing chaos at a major hub airport stacking up hours of delays for inbound flights. The new warning about why this could be a coming attraction across America. Job numbers better than expected, but the economy is shrinking, what the president tells Kristen Welker tonight about the risk of a recession in an exclusive interview. Plus, the breaking news, TEMU halting packages from China, what it could mean for you. The fiery crash near Yellowstone, leaving 7 people dead. What went wrong? Plus, remembering Ruth Buzzy, the legendary comedian who left us in stitches on Laugh-In. And flying by the book, the passengers who filled the pages of a flight attendant's journal and inspired us all.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening and welcome. Tonight, troubles in the sky and on the tarmac for an aviation system that lately has generated more than its share of worrisome headlines. Newark Airport once again today at the center of an air traffic crush that has left flyers enduring hours-long delays rippling well beyond the New York area to airports near and far. Officials blaming the breakdown on FAA staffing shortages and equipment issues. Newark is a major connecting hub for United Airlines. Tonight, its CEO, in a letter to customers, says it's now clear that Newark Airport cannot handle the number of planes that are scheduled to operate there. Scott Kirby writing United is unilaterally canceling 35 round trips a day from our Newark schedule starting this weekend. The U.S. Transportation Secretary warning the issues impacting Newark air traffic could happen at other airports as the summer travel season gets into high gear. And separately today, Sean Duffy blasted the military over close calls between an Army chopper and 2 commercial jets on Thursday near Washington's Reagan National Airport. It's where we start tonight with senior correspondent Tom Costello.
Just 3 months after a mid-air crash between a military helicopter and a passenger jet at Reagan National Airport, the NTSB and the FAA now investigating another close call. On Thursday, a military chopper flying to the Pentagon, identified as Pat-23, deviated from its flight path near Reagan Airport, the tower ordering the pilot to head west towards the Pentagon landing pad.
Proceed westbound now.
Pat-23.
Proceed westbound now.
With the military chopper violating minimum separation rules between aircraft, the controller ordered Delta and Republic flights to cancel their landings and go around.
Delta 1671, Tom, maintain 3,000. Go around 3,000.
Going around 30,000, Delta 1671.
After January's crash that killed 67 people, the FAA ordered a halt to chopper flights around the airport that aren't police, medevac, or national security, including Marine One. Today, a clearly frustrated transportation secretary.
And I don't know who's on this helicopter, but if we're transporting generals through that airspace because they can't get in an SUV, they can't take an Uber, but they have to take a helicopter, that is wrong.
That investigation comes as Newark Airport has been hit with days of hours-long delays following air traffic control equipment failures and staffing shortages. 20% of the workforce walked off the job. Late today, the CEO of United Airlines, with a big hub at Newark, announced it is cutting 35 round-trip flights a day out of Newark starting this weekend, writing, "We feel like there is no other choice in order to protect our customers." Secretary Duffy warning it could be a sign of things to come this summer.
And Tom, circling back to that close call at Reagan Airport, any word from the Pentagon tonight?
Yeah, our Pentagon team has learned from 2 U.S. officials that the chopper had 2 pilots and 1 crew member on board, rehearsing an emergency evacuation plan at the time, and there were no general officers on board.
All right, Tom Costello, thank you. We turn now to our exclusive interview with President Trump, just as a strong new jobs report sparked a surge on Wall Street. But there are still real concerns about the impact of the trade war on the economy. Here's Garrett Haake.
Tonight, Wall Street surging. The Dow up 564 points. The Nasdaq and S&P 500 each recovering all of their losses since President Trump announced steep tariffs on imports on April 2nd. It follows a strong jobs report. The economy adding 177,000 jobs in April. The unemployment rate holding steady. The first report fully factoring in President Trump's tariffs. All of it as recent polls show many Americans disapprove of his handling of the economy. The president tonight in an exclusive interview with NBC's Kristen Welker.
Some people on Wall Street have expressed concerns that the possibility of a recession is increasing. And I want to know what you think about that. Are you comfortable with the country potentially dipping into a recession for a period of time if you are able to achieve your long-term goals?
Well, you know, you say some people on Wall Street say, well, I tell you something else. Some people on Wall Street say that we're going to have the greatest economy in history. Why don't you talk about them? Because some people on Wall Street say this is the greatest thing that ever happened. Well, that's what I'm getting at.
That's what I'm getting at, though. It's the same question.
Yeah, there are many people on Wall Street say this is going to be the greatest windfall ever happened.
And that's my question, the long term. Yeah. Is it okay in the short term to have a recession? Look,
everything's okay. What we are, I said, this is a transition period. I think we're going to do fantastically.
Meanwhile, the president tonight renewing his feud with Harvard University, posting, "We're going to be taking away Harvard's tax-exempt status. It's what they deserve." Harvard, which has already sued the administration over frozen federal grant funding, responding, "There is no legal basis to rescind Harvard's tax-exempt status." President Trump has slammed Harvard, including over accusations of anti-Semitism. This week, in a scathing report, a university task force found a, quote, demonization of Israel on campus, including bullying and intimidation of Jewish students. The university's president previously telling Lester that President Trump's problems with the nation's wealthiest university are unrelated.
Is this really about anti-Semitism?
I would say that at Harvard, we have a real problem with anti-Semitism. We take it very seriously, and we're trying to address it. There's no doubt about the severity of that problem. We don't really see the relationship to research funding at Harvard and other universities. They are two different issues.
And Garrett joining me now. Late tonight, Garrett, the Trump administration asked the Supreme Court to weigh in on a case involving the president's Department of Government Efficiency.
That's right, Lester. The White House wants the justices to allow DOJ access to sensitive Social Security Administration data to search for waste and fraud, but two federal courts have so far blocked that access. Lester?
Garrett Haake, thank you. You can see much more of Kristen Welker's exclusive interview with the president this Sunday on Meet the Press. We turn now to breaking news. Major Chinese online retailer TEMU says it is halting direct shipments to the U.S. amid the growing trade war. Brian Chung is following this one for us. Brian, what happened?
Lester, TEMU is a wildly popular online bargain retailer that sells clothes, home goods, tools, and electronics, and the company had been avoiding tariffs by shipping directly from China to customers in the U.S. under what is known as the de minimis rule, which says shipments valued less than $800 were exempt from tariffs. That all changed today, and those shipments became subject to the 145% tariffs President Trump put on China. TEMU says it will now stop shipping directly from China and that the platform is transitioning to a, quote, local fulfillment model. It says pricing for U.S. customers remains unchanged. Lester?
Brian Chung, thanks. Turning now to a fiery highway crash just outside Yellowstone National Park in Idaho that left 7 people dead. Morgan Chesky has details.
Tonight, this fatal crash turned inferno, launching a growing investigation near Yellowstone National Park. Authorities say a pickup truck and a tour van with 14 people inside collided, then caught fire. The impact killing the truck's driver and 6 others inside the van. The accident happening late Thursday on a busy state highway just 15 miles west of the popular national park.
This is by far the worst I've ever seen.
Roger Merrill, one of the first to witness the fiery aftermath, capturing this video of an air ambulance arriving as crews tried to reach victims caught amid flaming wreckage. Stunned survivors lining the road, trying to comfort each other.
When you arrived on that scene just minutes after the collision, what struck you?
Just how horrific it was. When the fire broke out, there was one first responder who had just arrived who attempted with a fire extinguisher to put it out, but the flame just spread so quickly and engulfed both vehicles.
Tonight, authorities say the cause of the crash remains under investigation. Now, hospital officials tell us that 5 family members on board that very tour bus were taken to a nearby hospital. Tonight, we've learned that 3 of them have already been released and 2 remain in stable condition. Lester.
All right, Morgan, thank you. We turn now to a lead crisis in a major school district. Officials scrambling to investigate aging buildings only to find their pleas for help are going unanswered. Here's Maggie Vespa.
Tonight, new images of a spiraling crisis in the schools of a major American city. Wisconsin health officials say this is chipping lead paint found in at least 9 Milwaukee public schools. The district inspecting close to 100 aging buildings after 4 students earlier this year tested positive for elevated lead levels. Confirming beginning Monday, they'll close 2 more schools for repairs, telling parents while there's no immediate danger, students will be moved to other buildings.
What's it like sending her to school every day, knowing that they're concerned about lead levels in there?
Concerning. Yeah. Scary.
That works, right? Milwaukee mom Kristen Payne started an advocacy group knowing lead exposure can lead to brain and nerve damage.
I have felt sick to my stomach. I have lost sleep. Our children and our community are being poisoned.
In the last 30 years, the district confirms 85% of its painting staff has been eliminated, allowing instances of peeling lead paint to grow. The superintendent, who started that job in March, says administrators have spent close to $2 million on urgent remediation efforts.
Having safe and clean and welcoming environments is critical for our students and a value of MPS, and we're working hard to get that done.
Do parents have a right to be furious about this crisis?
100%. 100%.
The city's health commissioner says he requested the CDC send lead experts. But last month, following sweeping federal layoffs, he got his answer.
On April 1st, we got an email back. Unfortunately, our entire branch has been eliminated. To know that I can't pick up the bat phone to call somebody is a part that I still try to process on a regular basis.
NBC News reached out to the CDC and Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who said some departments cut in layoffs will be reinstated. Tonight, no response.
Wisconsin's governor has unveiled a $300 million plan to reduce lead poisoning. Meanwhile, the district urging parents to test their kids for exposure. Lester.
Maggie Vespa, thanks. Now to our series, Priced Out, and the innovative step one major city took to make home ownership more affordable. Steve Patterson reports on why the governor of Oregon says she wants to use the model statewide.
Just one look at Portland might explain why Josie Cantu couldn't give it up.
I was really struggling. I wanted to stay in this neighborhood.
Trouble was figuring out how to put down roots as a first-time home buyer.
I couldn't find anything in my price range.
She was one more tour away from packing it all up until she noticed this.
The minute I walked in, I was like, this is it. This is the one. These kinds of buildings being put in place, it just opens up so much opportunity for people like myself.
Josie saw the hopeful beginning of Portland's middle housing renaissance. The term is a nod to townhomes and duplexes. In 2020, the city approved building them on lots zoned for single-family homes. Dubbed the Residential Infill Project, it has since made middle housing one of the most popular types of new construction. A new report from the city says it's working. 1,400 units built in just a few years, and each one is $300,000 less expensive than a typical single-family home.
People need to have options to live where they want to live.
Oregon's Governor Tina Kotek says a lack of housing inventory is a nationwide crisis.
We just didn't build enough, and particularly in the Great Recession, we got further behind.
Kotek is hoping to apply the idea under construction in Portland, those duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, to the rest of the state, spearheading a new bill this session.
What my bill does, it says, please build different types of options. So if you are retiring in a community that you've lived in all along and had this really big house, you can maybe find a different place to live in your community. If you're buying your first home, these are much more affordable new homes.
This feels like it's a big swing. You're almost saying effectively, let's remove single-family zoning from the state of Oregon.
Well, we're still going to build single-family homes. It just says when you're a developer, you have a choice. And the market will dictate if it's a single-family home or if you can subdivide a lot and build 4 townhomes.
The plan has found few vocal critics, but brings challenges. Challenges Portland city leaders say they do feel.
Not all of our infrastructure was designed for this level of density. So as we're building more homes in our neighborhoods, we're going to have to update our water and sewer systems. We're going to have to think about how we update our transit lines. So those are all good problems to have.
But for Josie, what was once a distant dream is now plank and beam.
What's it like to be home?
I'm running up and down my stairs all the time, and I'm thinking, I cannot believe I bought this place. I cannot believe it. This is it. It's great.
One woman's proof that putting a roof over her own head was just a matter of being given the right keys. Steve Patterson, NBC News, Portland.
News just in about John Elway and the accident that left a longtime friend dead. And remembering Ruth Buzzy, who made millions howl on Dean Martin's roast to laugh in. We have an update tonight in the incident involving Hall of Fame quarterback John Elway and his longtime friend and agent who died after falling off a golf cart. A source familiar with details confirmed to NBC's Denver affiliate KUSA that Elway was the driver. The sheriff's department is still investigating but says it appears to be a tragic accident. Elway's lawyer telling us, quote, sometimes things happen in life that we will never comprehend. Now to alarming health news. The CDC reports that 216 children have died from the flu in the U.S. this season, the highest number in 15 years. Experts link the increase to falling vaccination rates among kids, down from 64% 5 years ago to 49% this season. And with flu season still ongoing, that number could climb. Ruth Buzzy, the beloved comedian who brought laughter to millions as the handbag-swinging Gladys on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, has died at 88. A Golden Globe winner, Buzzy's career spanned film, cartoons, and over 200 television appearances, including Sesame Street and That Girl. She died following complications from Alzheimer's disease. When we come back, in-flight entertainment, the flight attendant who takes some of his passengers with him wherever he goes. Finally, Jesse Kirsch and how one flight attendant is lifting his passengers' spirits.
Thanks, ladies.
When flight attendant John McKay boards a plane,
hey guys,
he packs more than a carry-on.
This is a journal that I take around with me when I'm traveling.
A journal that really belongs to his Southwest Airlines passengers, who spontaneously share poetry, prayers, even love advice, and elaborate works of art.
People may be traveling for a happy reason or a sad reason, and you oftentimes don't have time to figure that out. So it's a way that I kind of keyed into that, I think.
John started sharing his journal in 2023, but its true power became clear when he flew from Maui after that island's devastating fires.
There was a guy in the front row that grabbed it out of my hands, and it traveled the entire plane.
Passengers pouring their hearts out on the page about Maui and more.
Lost my son a year and a half ago. Couldn't work, couldn't get out of bed for almost 10 months.
It's powerful stuff.
Does it surprise you that people are willing to share that kind of thing?
It does and it doesn't. I mean, I think connection is the most important thing for humans.
Flying from Dallas to Houston, it did not take long for Eliza Norris to ask for the journal.
Thought I had it all. It's so many losses also. Through it all, never get left. Why are you willing to share this?
You know, you get to a certain age and you only want to help. I love hearing other people's experiences too.
All thanks to the flight attendant offering much more than a bag of pretzels. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News, flying over Texas.
And that is nightly news for this Friday. Thank you for watching. I'm Lester Holt. Please take care of yourself and each other. Good night. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.